Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be showing you how to draw a Japanese style Hannya mask. Now this is not a traditional style Hannya mask by any means. This will be more along the lines of new school or neo-traditional. So grab your drawing supplies and let's get straight into it, to the overhead. Okay guys, so as I said, today we're doing a Hannya mask style design. So we're going to be using a Fabriano hot press watercolor paper as usual, and a mechanical pencil to start this one off. So to start with, we're going to go in and draw a circle or oval shape. Just like that. And we're going to come down through the center and draw a line in, slightly off to the left, and draw a curved line in for our center line. Off to the right of this, we're going to do very small oval to indicate the side plane of the head. This will give us a little bit of dimension. From here we're going to come in, draw a straight line like that, and then curve it around the front. This will give us a place for our eyes. Below this we're going to draw a little line in and a little circle like this, and that'll give us a place for a nose. And I want this guy's jaw to be coming out towards us, so I'm going to draw an oval shape about there, making sure we have a center line on that as well, and that line should come up to the back of the circle here. So just underneath the line that we did across the face, or intersecting with that line, we're going to draw a circle like this, and another circle just like this. We want this circle to be a little bit lower because of the angle of the face, but only by a little bit. So this one will intersect this line, and this circle will sit just below it. From here you're also going to put in the circles where you want the horns to be. So the first horn will probably be about here. We'll just do a little oval for that. And the other horn will be coming out from behind the head, but I'll put a little oval in so I have the placement for that as well. Now at this stage we're free to start adding in some features of our Hannya, or some shapes. So coming out from the outside of the eyebrow here, we're going to draw a line that comes up, and then straight from that peak we're going to come down and out. From the bottom there we're going to curve smoothly back up and do just a little loop at the end. From the other side of that loop, or underneath that loop, you're going to come out, up, and back down, and this will give us the shape for our nostril. And you want to put a similar shape on the other side of the nose. From the other eye, from where the other eye is, you're going to come up and down and across the top of the eye, cutting off the top of that small circle, and then at the end you just want to go sharply back in. And from the outside of this curve, we'll go back in as well. For the placement of our hair, we're going to come in from the top of the circle here. We're going to come down and curve outwards. And then from that peak, you're going to come down and do the opposite. You're going to bow outwards like this. This is to create the shape of our head. For the other side, we're going to do the same thing, coming down from the center, coming inwards, and from the outside curving outward like that. From here we're going to draw in the rough shape of our horns, and I want my horns to come out and back in like this. Your horns can be whatever shape you want them to be. You can make them straight horns, you can make them smooth, or you can add texture, you can make them really short. It just depends on the look you're going for. From here I want to put in an indication of my ear, so coming back from the eyebrow about 2 centimeters or so, you can come up and draw a general ear shape. I like to make them pointy. It is a demon, so I like it to have some demon-esque features, so a pointy ear is good for that. But again, you can make them look however you'd like. And I might even draw the inside shape of the ear now as well, while we're at it. So we're going to come up and down. Put in that little ball bit and a little loop at the bottom. And then in the inside of that, we're just going to do some little curved lines. From here, I want to put some eyebrows in. I want one eyebrow to be raised, so I might do this eyebrow coming from just above the eye. And you're going to draw in a little squished rectangle. So one side of the rectangle is going to be wider, the other side is going to be a little bit squished, and they're going to have curved corners. And I'll do the same thing on this side, but it's going to be a little bit higher up. We're going to come in and bring our circle down like that, just following the guidelines we drew before. Same with the back of the circle. And then from underneath the top eyelid, sorry, we're going to come down and draw in the bottom of our eye. And a few little curves at the end of the eye here, just to indicate some bunched up skin or some wrinkled skin. On the other side, you're going to leave the top of this eye curved, leave the outside curved, and just cut across the bottom of that circle a little bit as well. You won't see the bunched up skin because it's hiding behind the nose there. Coming out from the left of this eye, we can draw in our cheek shape. Cheek shape will change depending on how you want this guy to look. If you want him to look a little bit chubby or a little bit more broad, you can do really fat cheeks on him. Now just beneath the nose, we're going to do a little triangle sort of shape. I'm going to come down like this and back up. So it's a very wide point, like an upside down triangle, a very wide point. And it's not super sharp, it's smooth at the tip, so it comes up and back down like that. We can draw in the general shape of our mouth now, so coming up like that, and a wavy line coming back down will give us the general shape for our mouth. From here I want to put the cheek of my Hannya mask in, so, or the back of the jaw leading into the cheek, so coming from just behind here, you want to come around, cutting off the bottom of the ear there. And you're just going to follow the line around until you get to about here where it'll dip in. So it comes down and dips in. From here you can put in some teeth as well, just so you know where they're going to go. At the back of the jaw I like to put in a nice big tooth. So we'll make this one really large. Just like that. And I might put a little bit of flesh sort of around it, just to indicate some gums. Now the teeth of your Hannya can be pointy or they can be straight teeth. This again depends on the look you're going for. So play around with it, have a bit of an experiment and just figure out the way you want to do the teeth. I like to do mine pointy. Coming back to the front of the mouth here, we're going to do a little curve underneath the nose. This will give us the little dimple above the lip. And then you're going to draw in some lips. From the other side of the nose, we're going to come in from behind the nostril, coming down, and draw in a little shape for our other cheek, just like that. And you want that shape to sort of mirror the cheek on the outside here, so get it sort of as close as you can. We're going to come up following that circle we did in the beginning, or that oval, to give us the shape of our bottom teeth. We're going to do like a curved rectangle, and from just underneath that we can draw in our lip. and our lip will basically continue to flow down into the jaw. To draw our bottom teeth, I'm going to do a large sort of sharp tooth here, and another large one on the outside. The little row of teeth that are in there, they can be small sharp teeth like you've done at the back of the mouth here, or they can be small straight teeth. In this case, I want to make them straight teeth, so I'm going to come in like this and basically just draw in little squares for our teeth. Being careful to make sure that they're roughly the same size. Now before I do the top teeth, I want to put in a tongue, and that's because the tongue may or may not overlap some of those teeth. So coming from the bottom jaw here, just above these teeth, I'm going to come up and draw in a curved line just like that, and bring it back down, not quite joining it at the end here. We're just going to bring that line back down into the mouth. From behind this line, you can come down and join up to there. So coming down, putting in our little curved rectangle shape for the top teeth. Now I do want to have a slightly larger tooth here in place of that small tooth. And then we'll just do our little squares. From here we want to draw the bottom jaw in. Now there's so many different ways to do this and different ways to add funky details to it, so play around with it and experiment. In this case I'm going to keep it really simple. I'm going to bring a line that goes back in and then sticks out like that. Bring that line in. Bring another line just above that and join that into your chin. Like I said, there's a lot of different details you can do with that bottom jaw. I may do another Hannya mask video in the future, so make sure you subscribe and just let me know if you want to see in more detail different features. I might even just do a video describing different Japanese or tattoo style features that you can add to your Hannya masks, your dragons, your koi fish, that sort of thing. That way, if you already know how to draw these things, or if you followed some of my previous tutorials and learned how to draw these things, you can start adding in your own details and changing it up a little bit using some of my tips and tricks. I just want to go ahead and add some pupils to the eyes. I've said this so many times, your pupils can be all sorts of different shapes. They can be circle, they can be more like those cat eye style pupils. You could do pupils with rings around them. It really depends. You could do what I did with my previous dragon video and just did swirls in the eyes. You guys should check that video out if you haven't already. But like I said, you can do so many different things with the pupils on a Hannya mask. In this case, I kind of want to do the cat eye sort of pupils. So we're just going to do these little curved crescent shaped pupils. So going ahead now and finishing off the shape for our horns. The bottom is just going to be a smooth curve as it's covered by hair. And then you can go up and start adding in some little details, organic sort of shapes, depending on how you want the horn to look. I said this in the previous video, you can make the horns really smooth if you want to, or if you're like me, you like that sort of rough organic look, then you can go ahead and do that. Okay, the sketch for the Hannya mask is pretty much done. I'm not sure what I want to do for background detail for this one. I think I'm just going to do a circle. So I'm going to take a circular item and put a circle in behind him. And this will sort of be like a sun or a moon, depending on how you color it. But this can add a really nice bold look to your designs. Alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and ink this one. Our sketch is finished. You guys already know how I ink my drawings. I've been through this in many previous videos. I can do a video on that. Just leave a comment in the comment section down below. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and ink this now using my Artline fine liners. I've got a 0.8, a 0.5, and I'll also be using a Sharpie to boost up some of those lines really thick. The texturing in the horns that I did will be very similar to the previous video, the dragon tutorial, except I'll be leaving that texture till the end, and I'll be using this Pentel Touch brush pen. It makes for really good texturing on the horns, and the only problem is that it's water soluble, so it will interact with the watercolors when I use them, so I'd rather leave that until the very end. But like I said, I'm going to go in and ink this now, so let's do it. Alright guys, as you can see, the outline for this one is finished. I've done all the ink. I've basically used a Sharpie to boost up areas that I want to be really bold and thick, and I've done the rest of it in a 0.8, so the lines are still fairly thick and obvious. And then for all of the really small details, the lips, the few markings I've done over the face and little details like that, I've used the 0.5. I'm going to start off with our Ecoline black brush pen and my watercolor brush for blending. I've also got a sheet of scrap watercolor paper that we used in the last video, and this will act as my makeshift palette. We're going to start with the hair, and in this case I want to do solid black hair with no shading. So this is a bit of a style preference. I always talk about style preference. It's basically just how you want it to look so that it matches your aesthetic, the way that you want things to look, because that's what art is all about. Not about being perfect or trying to copy someone else's design. And we're going to color it in solid like that on both sides. And for the eyebrows, we're going to do the same thing. Solid black, no shading on the eyebrows either. Nice and bold. So we're going to start with the inside of the eye here. I'm going to come down like this. Do a little bit of solid black. And then I'll take my brush pen and just blend it out. And we're blending that out to white. From here, you're going to come into the other side of the nose here. And from the top down, you're going to do the same thing, blending it out. From here, I want to color in the actual pupils of the eye. I do want to leave a little bit of a highlight, so what I'm going to do is come in from the top just a little bit. Blend that edge out a touch. And then do the same from the bottom. Okay, concentrating on this area down here now. So coming in from just underneath this eye here, we're going to do a little bit of solid black. And this will give us a shadow behind the nose. And again, just blending that out to a nice white. And you'll do the same from just underneath the eyebrow over here. A little bit of black. And then just blend it out. Now I want to come in with my black just behind the nostril here and put in a nice heavy black shadow. And we're blending that out as well. Underneath the cheek at the back of the jaw, we do the same thing, adding in a little bit of black. And gently blending that out as well. This little part underneath the jaw, we're going to do solid black, no blending. And then coming in from the edge of the mouth here, we're going to blend across this way and just do a little bit of shading from underneath the lip. Now I also want to do some shading just behind the back of the jaw here, where it joins into the ear. So I'm going to come in and add a bit of black. Just like that, and then come in and blend that out nicely. Now I do want to have a little bit of grey under the sort of bags of the eyes here, but I don't want to put any solid black. So I'm going to go ahead and use our makeshift palette, adding a little bit of black to the paper, and then dipping my watercolor brush into it and using it as like a makeshift palette. And then I can come in and do some shading without putting in any obvious blacks. Okay, the last area I want to do this shading is in the horns. This time we're going to do it a little bit different. I want to do solid black at the very top of the horns and fading down to grey. And I'm not entirely sure that we're going to add any color to the horns. I kind of want to leave them this black to grey transition. I think it's going to look really cool. So starting at the top, coloring in solid black. Till we're nearly 3/4 of the way down. And then taking your watercolor brush and blending that out. And we're blending right down to white. Okay, the last bit of shading I'm going to do on this one will be inside the mouth. So coming from the back inside part of the mouth, we're going to bring in a nice heavy black shadow. And then doing our best to work around those teeth, we're going to try and blend that out. Okay, that's pretty much the black and grey shading done for this one. We're going to go ahead and start adding in the colours now. Like always, you could leave this as a black and grey design. I think it's a really, really cool, solid black and grey tattoo design or drawing. But we are going to add some colours so that you guys can see how I would go about colouring a design like this. I'll be using our deep yellow for that, but I don't want this to be a really solid yellow. So I am going to be using my little makeshift palette, coloring in an area, and then dipping my watercolor brush into that as a little palette of ink. Start in the areas you want to be the darkest shade. And basically just blend it forward. Now for some reason my camera stopped recording halfway through that, unfortunately, but as you can see I've done all of the teeth that sort of yellow or lighter yellow using my makeshift palette for it, and the eyes is where it sort of cut out, I think. So just to make it super clear, what I've done is solid yellow on the outsides of the eyes, anywhere that a shadow would be, and blended it towards the center so that the center closest to the pupil is white. So we're going to go ahead and keep going with this anyways. I'm using carmine or a pink brush pen now to do the inside of the ear and the lips. So for the inside of the ear, I'm just going to come in like this. With my pink color. And then blending that out just using my watercolor brush. For the top lip, we're just doing solid pink, no shading. And for the bottom lip, we're going to do solid pink from the back here, coming forward. You can do all sorts of fancy things here and leave highlights everywhere, but I don't want to do that for this one. We're going to come around solid like that, blending it off at the tail end towards the lip, towards the middle of the lip, and then the same thing from the outside of the lip here. From here we're going to take our Ecoline Scarlet or Red and go ahead and do all of the gums and the tongue in a solid red. So in between each of the teeth I've left these tiny little triangles of gum. One more little bit of red that I want to do is from the top of the forehead down. Okay guys, we're getting closer and closer to finishing this one. We've done most of our red. There is a little bit left to do towards the very end there. But I'm going to go in now with a sky blue. Anywhere that you've done solid black, you'll want to do solid blue straight over the top of it. And anywhere you want to leave a highlight, you can leave white and just blend the blue straight out. Okay guys, we are nearly done. We've got a couple of minor things left to do. We're going to do the big red circle in the background and the texturing in the horns, and then go through with a gel pen for our highlights and corrections. After you outline your big red circle in the background, you can go in with your scarlet and do it a solid red color. So we're going to do that now. Once you've done that big solid red circle, you can go in and do the texturing on your horns. I'm using this Pentel touch pen. To texture the horns, we're basically going to do a little line, a squiggle, and then we're going to lead that line off and taper it down. So I'll show you what that looks like. We're going to come in, do a little line, and taper it off. And we're just going to do a whole bunch of these to texture our horn. Okay, from here I'm just going to go in and do a few highlights using a white gel pen. We're going to do a few highlights just where you want the light to hit, so maybe on the outside of the tongue here. You can do a little bit of a highlight along the edge. Just like that. And you can go through and do all of your highlights, and then we'll pretty much be finished with this one, guys. I really hope you enjoyed today's video, guys. Leave a comment in the comment section down below letting me know what you thought, and if you have any requests, leave them down below. I'm always looking at the requests and thinking of what ideas I can draw for you guys. If you want to follow me on Facebook so that you can keep up with my online portfolio, any other progress that I'm making, and new videos that are coming out all the time, please head over to Facebook at Daggett Designs. Please give this video a big thumbs up, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below for more great content. Alright guys, I'll see you next time. Bye.